for AI agents. And sometimes my AI agents, they get it, and sometimes they don't. And I use an AI agent to try to book this flight from Vegas to LAX. And guess what happened? They tried to put me in Miami. Exactly. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, this is not what we agreed upon. This tool Claude, this AI agents that they're creating, they're okay. But what it's good at is vibe coding. I like vibe coding. Also, what it's good at is content. I'm a content creator. But it has not mastered the spaces in between of what a human can interpret. I've also used 11 Labs. Anyone familiar with 11 Labs? It's the scariest AI tool I've ever seen in my whole life. So I use 11 Labs in my 9 to 5. I lead a global team. So there are members on my team that I can't not even communicate with because I speak English, they speak Mandarin, or they speak another language that I just haven't learned yet. And what this tool does, it clones your exact, I see you shaking your head, your exact voice. Yes, your voice. So as we were setting this up and we used our beta test and our user experience, we used my voice. So my voice, right now as you hear the sound of my voice, can be cloned in this snippet. But it'll say, SoFi Stadium is the greatest stadium in the world. And it's not me saying it at all. Yes, exactly. The other tools I use are Kriya. Anyone familiar with Kriya? Okay, I see you shaking your head. What Kriya does good, it takes an idea. You can go from a goal to a workflow. And sometimes the workflows are very efficient. So I deal with a lot of workflows in my 9 to 5. But this one in particular, if you do not intervene, it will create a workflow. So let's say create a workflow to walk me from here to that door, right? So the workflow is, what's your starting point? How many feet is from here to that door? Do you have on heels? What is your stride length of you walking to the door? If you don't feed that information to the AI, it will assume that you can teleport from here over there. That will be the workflow. I don't know if we figured that out with AI yet. And then the other thing that I will bring up, I won't hit on Spotify right now, but the thing that I want to say about Spotify is that their engineers, I saw a report recently, the engineers at Spotify stated that they have not coded anything in the last 12 months. They've used AI. Now, if I was one of those engineers, I would be a little bit concerned, right? Yes, I would be concerned. If there's no space for you with your engineering degree to do the work that you've been hired for, it's being replaced. And I want you to just take a moment and imagine. I've given you the 4 AI tools that I use on a daily basis. I want you to imagine, if you will, that you have been asked to implement AI within your organization. You have a team of about 50 people located around the world. And with this AI implementation, your job is on the line. If this does not work well, you can be at risk of not having a role. So you get buy-in from your leadership. They give you a few $1 million to implement this program. You've tested the product, you've seen the platform, and you roll it out, and crickets. Crickets. No one's using the platform. People are rejecting the idea of leveraging AI because they're the smart ones and they understand that their job can be at risk if they use this system. And I bring this up not as a hypothetical, this was my situation. I rolled out a multi-million-dollar AI platform. It was sexy. Let me tell you about these AI companies now. They can sell their off. And what I mean they can sell, they give you this ideology of where you could be, right? It's the shiny car syndrome, this brand new thing that's going to solve all of your problems. It's going to make you the queen or king of the world. And then you get it in, and then you realize the data does not work in this system. You don't have a cybersecurity governance. Your team is bucking against the system. You're wasting money faster than you've invested in. And I bring this up because I want to share this. This isn't my story only. What I've learned in my research is that 85% of AI implementations fail. They don't deliver on the expectations that have been set out. And why is that? It's because they don't take the human into consideration when they're rolling out the AI programs. Any leaders in this room? Any people who lead other people? Okay. So have you ever, this is a good one, have you ever considered what would it look like giving someone a promotion and also reprimanding someone without your face, without your voice, and sending them an AI agent to do it? I can't imagine it either. And I think when AI even tries to sell me something, have you all ever gotten one of those AI or auto robot calls?
Yeah.
Right, where they're trying to sell you something or try to get you to vote for something? It's the same pattern. You were not expecting for them to call. So you're either going to hang up the phone, avoid the phone call, or code it as scam likely. And that's the same thing that's happening in organizations. There was an organization, IBM, that fired their entire customer service team. And I mean, this was 9,000 customer service employees. And this was 3 years ago. Replaced all of their staff with AI bots, AI agents. Guess what happened 2 years later? Exactly. They hired every single human back because they could not sustain having an AI-driven error, AI-driven organization without having the human included. Right. So as we're having these conversations, I want to ask you all a question. I want you to think about something. We're talking about the AI era. So we know that's a revolution. But there are several revolutions that have happened in the last, 400 or 500 years. Which revolution do you think that scared people the most? Is it the Industrial Revolution? Was it the shift from analog to digital? Was it the .com revolution? Which one do you think scared people the most? .com, okay. Anyone else? Industrial. Okay, there we go. Anyone else? Okay. So I want to answer this for you. Everyone's correct because all of them were the most scary at the time. And just like the Industrial Revolution, the .com revolution, everyone was thinking the same thing. What does this mean for me? What does this mean for my family? What does this mean for my income? What does this mean for my livelihood? But one of the things that I learned specific to any change of this magnitude is those who succeed are the ones who are adaptable. Not the ones who dive all the way in, but the ones who are adaptable. So we want to talk about what that adaptability looks like in the space of this AI era, because it is scary. But the reality is there's some spaces where you can truly adapt. So I want to ask this question, and I have an answer for myself. I want to poll the audience. As you think about AI in your world, in your personal life, I want you to complete this sentence. If AI was really that good, it would.
Make me rich.
Oh, yes, come on, sister. She said, make me rich. If AI was really that good, it would.
Finish raising my kids.
Finish raising my kids. Okay, let's take one more. If AI was really that good, it would.
Find me a good husband.
Oh, she said, find me a good husband. Come on, AI. Hey, what did you say?
Master human emotion.
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't heard that one before. Master human emotion. I agree with like a lot of the things that I'm hearing in this room. The two things that I would say that came to mind when I first read this sentence was, one, it will make me a lot of money to pay my bills, so thank you, my friend over here. And I would say the second thing is that if AI was really that good, it'll help me be a better parent. So I want to tell you all a story about what I learned from parenting and how I apply it to how I use AI. So there was one time my husband and I, we were riding along in the car. And we had just picked my son up. And at the time, he was 6 years old, and he had just got out of first grade. So we're riding in the car, and I'm driving down the street, and I smell a UFO. And for those of you who don't know what a UFO is, it's a unidentified funky object. So I asked my son, I said, son, did you take your shoes off or did you break wind? And he immediately denied the allegations, of course. So when I get home, we get out the car, I still smell this smell. So I'm thinking to myself, where is this coming from? So I do what any normal parent does, and I started to take the car seat out. Any of you take the car seat out before and turn that thing upside down and start shaking it? I said, he gave me the peace sign back there. He said, yeah, I did it earlier this morning. But I turned it upside down, and it was amazing to see the things that came out of this car seat. It was fruit snacks, goldfish, McDonald's chicken nuggets, and the fries. Come on, somebody. I see a mama back there. She knows. And there was a half of a Korean corn dog, because my son's fancy like that. But I still couldn't find the source of the smell. So I started taking every single thing out of the car. I started taking things from the glove compartment, the armrest. Like, I'm literally trying to find this smell. So something told me, Chantel, get down on all 4 floors and get under these seats. So I'm putting my hand under the seats, I'm feeling metal, and I feel something. And I'm like, in my heart of hearts, this has to be the culprit of this smell. So I pull this thing out, and it had been this little blue sippy cup. And it was filled with chocolate milk.
I've had that. Oh, my son, not me.
Oh, yeah, just to clear the air, it wasn't you. It was his son. But for this civic, I could not do you all like that. It would have had mold in it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do you like that. But keep in mind, I had to get a different sippy cup. I want you all to keep in mind, this sippy cup, I live in greater Las Vegas. So this sippy cup, it was baking in 120-degree weather. It was nasty. So my first thought was, I wonder how long this thing has been in here. And my second thought was definitely a rookie parent thought. I thought to myself, I found the sippy cup, now I gotta wash it. I broke the seal and I immediately gagged. It was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. It was like that Thriller song, it was the funk of 40,000 years. It was so bad. But I want to let you all in on something. For those of you who are new or aspiring parents, it's not worth the $5 that you spent for the cup. Just throw it in the trash. But what I learned from this experience was something powerful. Just like AI and just like that milk, if you don't find the source of it, if you don't have a clear understanding of how or where it's coming and how it's showing up, it can seep. It can seep into your culture. It can seep into your organization. It can seep into your leadership. And it's kind of like that phrase that goes a little something like this. I think you all can help me out. When you think about AI, you can lead a horse to water. I want you to finish this. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Ooh, you can't make it drink, but you can make it thirsty. And what I want to share with you is how to be thirsty when it comes to looking at AI the right way. And I'm going to share a water framework. So this may be the opportunity, if you're taking any notes or want to write anything down, to just make sure that you're documenting this, because I'm going to go through an easy framework. I want to have you talk with me in some of these areas. So as I think about the water framework, and this image is AI, we're going to do the water test. And I'm an 80s baby. And when I think about the water test of AI, it kind of reminds me of that movie Gremlins. Anybody? Definitely in the right room. The gremlins, for those of you who are not familiar, there's these little cutesy things that kind of look like Furbies or little gerbils. When you see them, you're like, oh my God, they're so cute. And then you splash some water on them, they turn into demonic creatures and you want to run far. So I want to make sure that you, when you're using AI and trying to think about how to leverage AI, we want to keep it with the cutesy, whoopsie gremlin, not the demonic character. So we're going to walk through this water framework together. So the first W is in this framework is that AI will replace humans. That's the biggest myth that I've ever heard of. Now, what I will clarify is I did not say that AI will not replace some jobs. That is true. But it can never replace human intelligence, humans' emotions, humans' approach, human creativity, human thought process, human history. And to support this, I found a quote from World Economic Forum. And what it says is AI will create millions of new roles, even if it reshapes existing ones, meaning transformation, not elimination. And I want to hold on to this for one moment. I bring this up simply because I'm a human. I looked at my budget at the beginning of this year, like, okay, if I lose my job, can I navigate? But the reality is there's so many new roles that have been created in the past 5-6 years in the wake of AI. We have a friend in the room who's graduating in computer science in the next few months. And we were just having a dialogue about the changes in the landscape of the job market. We were having a conversation on the varied skills that are needed in technology now. You just can't walk in with an engineering degree. You have to be attached to AI. So it's creating new roles. And I highly recommend, be it you're in insurance, or if you're in functional medicine, or if you're in training and development, to look at it from the perspective of how do I leverage AI to anticipate the gaps that will be created as a function of this AI space. So I will give you that different perspective to take. The other thing that I want to share is a story of mine. You remember those $1 million implementations that I told you all about? I wasted about $2 million on one failed implementation. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience so you can avoid it. I was rolling out a platform that was intended to replace a human. And this platform was intended to take phone calls as our customers called in. On the surface, everything looked good. The agent was working right, the customers were engaging with it. But there was a vulnerability in the system that AI couldn't pick up. Now, for anyone who has or has not implemented AI, you train it on every single thing that it does. So our AI did exactly what we told it to do. Pick up the phone, get the customer off the phone in a certain amount of time. If there's an escalation, move it to a human. But what it did not realize was fraud. There was erratic customer behavior that was happening in Canada, in Europe, in the Middle East. And it was over the span of about 48 hours where a customer came in. We still don't know if it was a human or not. And they took well over $1.6 million worth of product.
Oh my God.
And the only way that this was found out is because of human intervention. A human came in and they said, hold on, something's going on with this customer buying patterns. This is not typical of the trend of this customer. Look at all of the history that we have for them for 15 years. Why are they purchasing like this? They picked up the phone with a human voice, real human voice, called the actual customer, and they said, I have no idea what's happening. Now we have a customer whose accounts have been compromised. We can't do anything about it, and now they're in a battle with the bank. Now, what I will say is, in this mistake that was made, we fixed the vulnerability, But I think the reality that I want to share with each of you is that if you're looking to create anything with AI, always start with the worst case scenario and backwards design, okay? Learn from my mistake. Now I want to ask this room a question. As you're thinking about how you leverage AI currently, what do you believe that it does really, really good in your day-to-day? Formatting emails. Coding. Strategy. Outlining structure. So what I am hearing in the room, I'm hearing a lot of tasks, a lot of workflows, a lot of processes, but nothing that a human, I'm going there. I'm not hearing anything specific to something that only a human can do, right? I didn't hear anything about, any specificity as it pertains to human capital, as it pertains to how we think and layering our thinking. Yes, there you go, the creativity, the thinking outside of the box, the multi-level layer thinking, Bloom's taxonomy in regards to how we educate and how we think each other, because you're a trainer, right? And I think that that's a missing element, right? Now, as we go to the next letter, I want to ask this question. Clap once if AI is not always right. Oh, I had more claps than I anticipated. So AI is always right is the biggest myth that I've ever heard of. And I'm actually going to give an example and tell a story about Caroline. Caroline and I, we find ourselves at many conferences together. And one time we were in Nashville. And I was speaking at the conference and she came to see me. But what ended up happening, she was trying to figure out what time I spoke and what stage I was speaking on. So Caroline does what a normal human being does. She walked up to the help desk. She said, "Hey, I'm Caroline." You with her 7-foot energy? "Hey, I'm Caroline, and I'm here, and I want to see Chantel Love speak." And they said, "Oh, okay. How about you just go on your phone and you use this AI app. Her name is Dolly. Dolly can help you out." And I know she was thinking to herself, because I know Caroline, like, I'm right here. Why can't you give me the information? But Caroline obliged, and she went to this app to talk to Dolly. Dolly ain't know what she was doing. She asked Dolly where she was, where I was speaking. They gave her the incorrect time, the incorrect stage, and when she reported that there was an error in the system, they said, "It'll correct itself. Maybe it's because you're on a different time zone."
That's what they said.
And decided to blame the customer for the issue that their AI system that they created had. So I say this because the system that we relied on at that time, it didn't give us the information that we needed. And then she had me questioning myself. I'm like, where do I speak? I'm looking at Dolly, she's telling me I'm somewhere else, and it was a mess. But it's not always right. AI is confident, even in its errors.
Yeah.
Very confident, but not always correct. So you want to make sure you use the right level of judgment when you're leveraging AI. I typically do multiple prompts. I've taken some prompt engineering classes. But I take multiple prompts. So when they give me the first answer, I look at it from a different lens. I may look at it from a senior executive lens, or I may look at it from a consulting lens, or whatever I'm doing for that project. But it is confident, and it'll make you feel confident until you get in front of someone who knows what they're doing, right? Now, the thing that I want to say is, this is one of the biggest lessons that I learned. And I may ask the audience as well, because we have some people in here who use AI. Before I've created any agent, before I've created any workflow, before I've created any process, like I said, start with the end in mind, even if it's the worst case scenario and backwards design. But what assumptions might this be wrong about? So if you're prompting and you're project is on the line, your team is on the line. You want to start with that perspective. And I even prompt AI to ask this question. What assumptions this might be wrong about? What assumptions am I not thinking about? What judgment are you lacking from the perspective that I'm looking at, right? Has anyone done that before? Okay, good. With that being said, you always want to lean into that space. The other thing that I want to say is a big myth is that AI thinks like a human. I see chuckles. AI tries its best to think like a human. I was using AI recently, and I don't know, how many of you, show of hands, use ChatGPT? That should be the whole room. Okay. ChatGPT. So, one of the things, I was in a beta test with Google. And I don't know if you all are familiar with like Alexa or Google Home. They're working on a project where they're integrating ChatGPT, Alexa, and Google Homes, where AI in the future will look like this. It'll look like a prompt. It'll sound like this. My 8-year-old son has 3 friends that are coming over. One is lactose intolerant. The other one has a peanut allergy. He really loves Pokemon, so we need to make sure that there's a Pokemon theme to this party and this event. And I need you to send it. That is the future of AI. Now, when we did this beta test, my son, he used his voice to talk to this beta, and he says, I want to order ice lollies. I also want to get biscuits. My son is Black American, and he really thinks that he's from Britain somewhere. He's watched a lot of Peppa Pig. So he's using his language. When he's saying ice lolly, he actually wants a popsicle. When he's saying biscuits, he actually wants cookies. So when the delivery arrived, it did exactly what he said. We had some ice and some lollipops, and we had some biscuits. And he was greatly disappointed. But this is the future of AI, and it can't think like a human because it doesn't synthesize the fact that there's different contextual meanings to words like ice lolly, biscuits, jumper, which is a sweater depending on the geography that you're in. But I wanted to bring this up because it lacks situational awareness. So it didn't have the context of where my son was pulling this from. And from this Harvard study, it says that AI lacks situational judgment and contextual awareness, which remains a human strength. I want to put some emphasis on that last part, which remains a human strength. So the strength that we still have in this AI era is our ability, as we mentioned earlier, to have situational judgment and contextual awareness. Now, the other thing that I will say, you all heard about me being an executive by day. And with AI, I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes. This is the season where I am hearing in closed door conversations with executives where they're being asked to do a lot more with less. Less resources, less money, less headcount. And I've taken on about 4 or 5 different roles in this one position that I have. Outside of that, I've also written a book. I have some copies for each of you to take home with you. Thank you. In addition to that, I coach and I speak. I cannot do it all on my own. And as I was talking to the champ earlier, we were talking about a leader that he brought on board, and he was talking about the importance of multiplying yourself. And that's the true display of leadership. When you're able to multiply yourself, when you're able to trust someone else to do the role for you. I tried the AI agents. Sent me to Miami when I was trying to come here. So one of the things that I will say, and this is part of the reason why I really enjoy flow staffing, is because AI cannot replace the human value. And my LLC, a lot of work that I do is around RFPs and proposals. And humans are still cautious about auto robot calling. They're still cautious about AI agents calling. They're still cautious about that. They want to engage with the human being. And I get the benefit of having a human with a heartbeat that's my executive assistant who knows my business. So if I'm not available, she can call on my behalf, and they know she's an extension of me. And when I try to move forward with the AI agents and the automatic voice, oh my God, I was so embarrassed. The automatic voice that were pitching on my behalf, I was like, what? Who thought this was a human voice? So the benefit that I had with my amazing executive assistant is to function like a human. She has that contextual and situational awareness where she can fill in those gaps where I don't have to work around the clock. She's working now while I'm here to help to support my business, to help to keep my team afloat, to help to ensure that I have everything that I need. And that is priceless for me. Now, the thing that I will ask you, and I know we've been talking about this, is where in your work does human judgment matter most? Let me fill the audience. Where in your work does human judgment matter most?
Creative.
Oh, creative. In the creative space, human judgment matters most. I saw your hand and that one back there.
Medicine.
Medicine, yes. She's a functional medicine, so anything dealing with your body, of course, I would want human judgment. Anybody else?
Gauging reactions and negotiations.
Oh, yes. Gauging reactions and negotiation. Human judgment is definitely needed across all of those areas. And I don't believe that AI can just step in right now. I don't think that we're at a moment. I've seen Elon Musk, the robot that he has, trying to send one of those into a negotiation.
PowerPoint for me.
Right.
Can't present it.
Exactly. Because the trust, credibility is still built around the relationship that you build. And I don't know, I know I've seen some people get married to their AI chat bots.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's a true story.
Personally?
Yes. There are weddings and marriages that are taking place. Very fascinating. But maybe those people lack judgment and credibility, but that's for another conversation. But what I will say as well is that another myth that is believed is that AI is going to be effortless in the success. You apply it, you sit it, and it does the work. And I think we all can agree in some iteration or another that that's not always the case when it comes to using an AI tool. It makes me think about this time when I pulled this quote from McKinsey. And what I love about this quote is that it says, AI succeeds when workflows and leadership processes change along the way. I would say yes and. Like, I appreciate it, yes and. There also has to be an understanding of where the responsibility starts and stops. That's included in that as well. But what I've seen is, even in some of the biggest billion-dollar companies, I have friends that are in Google and Amazon, and they've rolled out AI implementations, and they all often come from the top down. And what happens when you have a top-down implementation? It ends up getting stuck right in the middle because they don't have that middle input, the middle managers, the supervisors, the frontline staff that has a say in what's actually happening. And that creates so much friction. So it works, or they have success, if you will, when it's alongside of changing leadership processes, leadership methodologies. Now, one of the things that I want to bring up here, we talked about that a little bit. I want to address an elephant in the room. I want you all to say, hey, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie.
That's Ellie the elephant. So we're going to address an elephant in the room. There's tons of AI tools. I've probably implemented over 100 in the last 5 or 6 years, right? And they add up over time, even the small ones that cost $5 that do a couple of things. But before adopting any AI tool, I want you to think this question to yourself. What decision or workflow will this change? What decision or workflow will this improve? What decision or workflow will this eliminate? You want to make sure you're asking yourself those questions. Because AI is ever evolving, it's changing rapidly. And one of the things that I've learned about this, I'm going to ask you all this question. If you were to bring someone, a human, inside of your organization tomorrow, inside of your personal life, or to help you to find that man, because AI ain't going to help you with that, okay? What's the one problem that you believe you can improve tomorrow if you had an additional person on your team or someone in your repertoire that you can use or leverage? You know, we have some folks that do negotiations in the house, some people who do functional medicine, some folks that do insurance. What's the one thing that comes to mind for you?
Time management.
Oh, time management. Say a little bit more.
Time management.
No, say a little bit more about that. How will they help with managing your time?
What? Oh, you mean the AIs?
Yes.
Oh, no. I mean, you can prompt it, you can set your standards.
Yep.
I mean, but it's going to be limited in its function.
Agreed.
I was just thinking about, like you said, what can I improve?
Yes. So I love that. And thank you for being so introspective. What we're seeking to improve are the gaps or the areas of opportunity for us as humans. And sometimes we think that is AI until it lets us down. But I think that human intervention is still important because we're in a space where things are changing rapidly and things are continuing to improve. So I'm going to leave you with this one thing here as we're going into the last point, replaces responsibility. And what I will say is AI, this is a myth. It does not replace responsibility because you can't just send an agent out there and just say, okay, you're going to do it and blame it on the agent. It doesn't work that way. The quote that I came is one that I created on my own. I have never heard an executive say that AI told me to do it and they avoided the accountability. Never. If you all have, please let me know. But it does not replace responsibility. So I want to have you all do something, if you all can get up for a moment really quickly. We're going to talk about responsibility and what that looks like. And thank you. So I want you to do one exercise. This exercise I do everywhere around the U.S. and on the planet Earth. So we're going to do this one exercise. So I want you to follow the instructions here, right? We're going to demonstrate human intelligence versus AI. So I want you to pick whatever hand you have, and I want you to raise your hand as high as you can. All right? I see it up there. I see it up there. Okay, now you can put that hand down. All right. Now I want you to now raise your hand even higher than you raised it the last time. Okay, I see somebody on the tippy toes up there. Somebody thought about getting on the chair. Okay, so you can sit down. I'm going to ask you this question. What was the first question that I asked? Okay, raise your hand as high as you can. This is actually Prompt Engineering Live. I'm befuddled a little bit because if the first question was raise your hand as high as you can, how is it possible the second time that you were able to raise your hand higher?
Because we figured we shouldn't stand up.
That's a good one.
We limit ourselves.
There you go. There you go. And that's exactly what I'm saying. The reality of it all is the first time when I asked the question, you had limited information. When I asked that question the second time, you said, okay, the first time I did it here, but let me go ahead and get a little bit higher the next time. And I share this because there is a big room, and the biggest room in the world is not in Dubai, it's not this mythical place. The biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And what I want to say, thank you. What I want to say in this space, I didn't come here to bash AI, but the thing is, it's constantly improving. And as humans, we should always aim to improve. Improve our understanding, improving our intelligence, improving our partnerships. AI can never do this. Bring humans in a room that many of us never met each other before. I met some of you for the very first time. Understand that we are here for a reason. And AI can never do this, and we're always aiming for constant improvement. So I'm going to leave you with this. I want you to imagine, if you will, that you're at a graduation. And imagine that you are graduating with your master's degree. And across the room, you see your college roommate, your freshman roommate. But your freshman roommate is there graduating with their bachelor's degree. So you ask yourself, how does this happen? We started at the same time. We stayed in the same room. We were in the same program. How is this possible? And I want to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself as you're listening to the sound of my voice, is it possible for two people to come to the same event and get two different experiences? Is it possible for someone to wear the exact same shoe, the exact same brand, the exact same size, and have a different walking experience? And the answer is absolutely yes and yes. So as you take any part of this conversation, the one important thing that I will leave you with is to hold on to the things that AI can do. Build relationships. Elevate the way that you think. Challenge the status quo. And understand that AI isn't an enemy. If you adapt, you'll be able to take full advantage of what it has available to you. Okay? So I'm going to take the opportunity to open the floor up for any questions. I have like a minute or two survey. It'll be helpful to have an understanding of what you liked, so I can keep on doing that, and what you didn't like, so I can do less of that. But if you pull your phones out and you aim at the QR code, it's just a minute or two to just get your thoughts. And while we're doing that, thank you for pulling your phones out. I'll take any questions or comments that we have from the room.
Which is the easiest one to learn and get started with?
The easiest AI tool? I am biased.
Oh, well, most people are.
Yes, very. I will say my absolute favorite and the easiest are tied at, of course, ChatGPT, followed by Claude. Simply because I use it for content creation. I saw you shaking your head back there too.
We're getting into that.
Yes, especially for coding, even if you've never coded before, content creation, strategic planning. I actually was contacted by ChatGPT December of 2025 because I ranked in the top 3% of all global users who uses ChatGPT for strategy. Most people use ChatGPT for recipes or organizing their closet or getting their grocery lists together. But I use it from the perspective of how can I strategically accelerate my business? How can I strategically empower my team? How can I look at it from just a global strategic perspective? But ChatGPT and Claude are the easiest in my opinion. Good question. Thank you for that. Anyone else? All right.
I have some questions about So thank you, Chantal. Wasn't that amazing? Big round of applause, please. Thank you. So just a couple of questions. Chantal, about your book, Promote Your Damn Self. Tell us why in this day and age, it's so important to promote yourself as a brand, your product, your services, and why is it so much more available to us than pre-social media platforms?
Yeah, I love this question. I, for one, am a person who's still betting on human intelligence. And I think the best way to showcase your human intelligence is by having a personal brand that propels your purpose. And I've been in the personal branding space for some time now. It's one of the accelerators in my career. I am an individual who went from an entry-level position to an executive role in less than 4 years. And it was by ensuring that leadership and organizations didn't assume my value, that I was actually putting myself in a space, in a position to vocalize my value. And what that looked like was ensuring that they understood that I contributed to high-stakes enterprise projects, that I came with this track record of proven success, and that I had the skills and the aptitude to grow and evolve the organization. And I think a lot of people, especially women and people of color, those are the people that I typically work with, they believe in the phrase that if you work hard, you'll get the results, until it doesn't happen. And the reason why I wrote the book, Promote Your Damn Self, is because it's a lifestyle. And the reality is, when we're in spaces where AI slop exists every single place, and the truth that 85% of all AI implementations fail, why not bet on what's worked all the time, being human? So that's where I find myself really leaning into personal branding and why I feel that it's still so important, especially this day and age.
And just one last question. How important is consistency when you're promoting your brand online?
Very much so. So I've been what do you call it, a dualpreneur, entrepreneur, side hustler for maybe about a decade. I've taught at universities on the side, I've coached and I've consulted. And when I did not have a personal brand, I only got as far as the people who knew me in my physical network. But then when I found out about this thing called LinkedIn, you all know about LinkedIn? Come on, somebody. People underestimate the power of LinkedIn, and most people use it just to house their resume. And for me, over the last couple of years, I started using it to network, and I've met some of the people that I've invited in this room. My good friend now, Tiffany, who's a former Olympian, who's now using functional medicine. I would have never met her if I didn't leverage spaces like LinkedIn. And what I love about LinkedIn is that there's over 1 billion users. And it's so there's so much credibility. The same process that you use to go through TSA pre-check or clear in the airport is the same level of rigor that LinkedIn uses to verify the accounts. So you know if you're talking to a Yaya Carroll, it's actually Yaya Carroll and not someone acting as though they're her. And I say this to say, I've met over the past 2 years 10,000 people on LinkedIn that I would have never met by happenstance, and they've supported me in promoting my book. They've supported me as I went on advisory boards, and then aside from me, it's given me a space to amplify other people's voices, position them for opportunities like consulting gigs, speaking engagements, and you fill in the blank, we've done it. But it's a really great way, especially in this job market, to stay consistent, to stay relevant, so that you and your team or your organization are at the forefront of it all. I think one other quote that I want to say is, it's an attention economy that we're in right now. And I want to hold the room really quick. They say that the attention span of a goldfish is 7 seconds. Do you know what the attention span of an average human being is?
3.
3. I see back there, close enough. The average attention span of a human being is 6 seconds, which is 1 second less than a goldfish. What does that say about the human race? But I say this to say that consistency is important because people can forget very quickly.
What's your favorite AI platform when it comes to video editing, when it comes to, or putting together your social media?
So for social, I have a whole suite, a team of AI tools. So for writing, I use ChatGPT and I use Claude to write content, to write scripts, to write storyboards. For video editing, I like using Opus Clips to edit my clips, as well as captions to edit my clips as well. And one of the other tools that I use is not an AI tool, but they have an AI extension now. Canva has gotten really, really good with the AI plugins that it has available there. So definitely those are a suite that I use. I tried 11 Labs to clone my voice, but it scared the heck out of me. I was like, I'm just gonna use my own voice. And then the other one is NVideo. NVideo actually clones you and your character, and you have an AI twin. So your AI twin is able to do your content for you as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Chantal. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, and a big round of applause for you all for making it today. Thank you. We appreciate you. I want to give a special thanks to my executive assistant, my Flows executive assistant, who organized this entire event today from top to bottom. I just showed up. That's all I do. I just showed up. He even organized my ride here. So thank you to Aldrian, who is in the Philippines, and hopefully he'll be here with us one of these days. But
Thank goodness you didn't end up in Miami.
not with Aldrian. So we do have a food will be taken away by 12, so please grab as much as you can, and thank you again for coming and making today such a fabulous day for all of us.
Thank you.
One more thing, for those of you who want a copy of my book, there are free copies back there. Take one for you, a member of your team, and we all have that there for you.
We'd also like to get a group shot, so if everybody can come to the front.
Where are we taking that group shot at?
Right here.
Right here?
Yeah.